Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today for this talk about the first AI chatbot we developed for gamers. To start, a few words about me. So I'm Charles Hutto. I'm creative director at Ubisoft, and I'm known to be a weird tech explorer for years now. Why weird tech? Because 10 years ago, when I started at Ubisoft Montreal, I started as an assistant on the brand Your Shape, working on Kinect technology. And then I managed with my team the following brand Shape Up on Kinect. Then I switched to another weird tech at the time, VR, to ship the first VR game at Ubisoft called Eagle Flight. And then without any surprise, I switched to other technologies. And I joined the Ubisoft Club, where I started to work on the club and, more specifically, Sam, this AI chatbot. So if you don't know about the Ubisoft Club, basically it's the gamified loyalty program of the company. It's accessible to all Ubisoft players through a lot of different destinations on your mobile, on your console, directly in-game, on the web. It's all linked to your Ubisoft account, and you can, while you play, complete in-game challenges, grind club units, and thanks to those units, you can get some sweet loot in your game. And then the last addition we did in this service is the chatbot Sam that I will present to you today. To start, I will show you the launch trailer that we released a year ago to announce this project.
Yo! How long have I played Assassin's Creed Origins exactly?
You have played 17 hours and 52 minutes. You've only explored 31% of the game so far.
Who's the best assassin, Bayek or Ezio?
Right away, start your engines. Oh, I see you started playing. Welcome back, Derek. I've looked at your latest matches. I saw you lost one in the theme park map. I can help you master this zone.
Sorry, TV's taken.
Sam, personal gaming assistant. Available now in beta. Download the Ubisoft Club app on App Store and Google Play.
Voila. So what will we talk about today? Mainly about how did we started to think about this crazy idea of making your phone talk like a robot. How did we, from a basic prototype during a hackathon, build a live product in 6 months, and 1 year later, where are we with this project and the result with our users? So to give you an overall idea of what is Sam in details, so Sam is part of the Ubisoft Club app. The Club app released more than 2 years ago, and we added Sam last year. It's right now in beta as a chatbot. It speaks and understands English only right now. And it supports voice and text input. So you can chat with Sam using your voice command or chatting with it using your keyboard. You can download the Ubisoft Club app right now if you want. I just want you to keep your volume down if you are using Sam during the presentation. Thank you. But the best way to explain what is Sam is to let Sam introduce itself.
Hi there, I am Sam, your personal gaming assistant. I am here to help with your favorite Ubisoft game. Whether you want to find the famed Magnapulsar in Far Cry 5, need help defeating the Minotaur in AC Odyssey, or want proof that Ash's head from Rainbow Six does indeed have a hitbox, I have answers for you. Thanks for coming to this presentation. I am sure Charlie will do me proud. I may still be in beta, but he is not.
Thank you, Sam. So we released Sam first in a soft launch in Canada only in last January 2018, and then we launched a worldwide version later in June. What was really a good surprise for us is the press appreciation at the beginning when we announced the project. It was a lot of coverage and a lot of comparison with other products like Siri or Alexa or Google Home, so we were super proud of that. At the same time, when we released the trailer, the reaction of players online were somewhat mixed, like sometimes on YouTube, you can see that. And by the way, to answer to Javier De Rock, who asked who thought this was a good idea, I think that's me. I thought it was a good idea. What's good is that 6 months later, we released the product. Sam is now the first reason for users of the app to give 5 stars to the app, and not just only because Sam is asking you to do it, but also because they want to. And to give you an idea of what we want to achieve with this project is really to build a player's best friend. It's built around 3 key principles. We want to help our players, we want to inform them, and we want to learn from them to be better at our work. Helping them is giving them everything they need while they are playing, so it's really easing their daily gaming life, giving them tips on their maps, play tips, customer support, walkthrough videos. So we did a partnership with the customer support at Ubisoft to be sure that Sam can be linked to the best links out there when you have a problem with your game. Inform them is to be sure that you can find every information about Ubisoft all in one place. So every release date, every specs you need, news, trailers, etc. Again, we did a partnership also with the store where you can ask Sam to get a gold edition of a game, and Sam will find you the best link to do that on your phone. And to learn from our gamers is to be sure that we can work with them and better understand what they want and how they play, how they enjoy our games. Mainly the goal of Sam is to be sure that helping you as a player improve to make sure that you can play more and play better with our games. So about the app, today we have almost 5 million app installed on the market. And when we released the Sam, we decided to put Sam directly on the navbar. And for those of you who work on apps, it can be a ballsy move to do that. But we were super happy because our objective was to drain the maximum of new users to try this new feature. Our objective was to aim 25% of them starting a conversation, and within 6 months, it was 60% of them. So we were super happy. We had 1 million users in the first 6 months, and since then, we reached the bar of the 10 million questions answered by Sam. Today, Sam has an accuracy of 88%, meaning there is 12% of the time that the chatbot doesn't understand what you are asking or doesn't have an answer for you. And on a daily basis, Sam is answering 23,000 questions a day and delivers more than 200,000 personalized tips and advice to players all over the world. So one quick question that people ask me about this project 1 year later is, are you out of the gadget zone? And it's true that when you release something like a new AI chatbot for gamers, nobody did that before, you have a high chance to join the big family of products that will be super exciting at the beginning, but not so used after. And when you are working on a chatbot, your worst nightmare is to become the new Clippy. So how do you know that you are out of the gadget zone? Well, on our side, we check 3 main data. First, acquisition, to be sure that we continue to attract new users and new players inside this new service. Retention and usage, to be sure that they continue to use it regularly, mainly today on a weekly basis. And new partners. When we started to develop SAM, we made a tour of all the production inside Ubisoft, and Rainbow Six Siege was the first production to really partner with us with this project, and we released a feature called the Daily Login dedicated for them. Since then, SAM can tackle more than 6 different games, including The Division 2 that released last week, and the Daily Login feature is really growing and growing. So all this all started mainly by what we do every year annually. It's a hackathon organized by the Ubisoft Club. During a hackathon, what we do is that we divide the team of the club in smaller groups, and they have 24 hours to create and deliver a prototype about a new idea or a new feature. That year, the winning team, they won the hackathon with a simple idea. They wanted to create a new way to deliver useful game data to players while they were playing. So basically what they were pitching is a live companion app. I imagine that you are all familiar with the expression companion app. It was the thrill in 2012. Yeah. There is a lot of companion apps out there and great ones. The majority of them can help you continue having an experience of your game outside of your living room. So you're on the bus or you are at the office and you can continue either playing or manage stuff in your game. But really a few are integrating live features where you can use them while you are playing. One of the main reasons we believe is because while you are playing, your eyes are super busy and your hands are even busier. So even if I give you a second screen with super cool data on it to read and to interact, the medium is not the best one for you to do that. It's a bit like texting while driving. It's not a good idea. And I repeat, texting while driving is not a good idea. So the team who created the first prototype, they had one example that was super useful for us. It's the AI assistant from Iron Man, Jarvis, with a really good example of an AI being able to manage, organize, compare, and prioritize useful data. So in the movie, Tony Stark has a lot of data available, but he needs his assistant to be sure that he can prioritize those data and keeps his hands free to continue engineer his beautiful armor. I give you an example.
Any military victims?
Not according to public records, sir.
Bring up the thermogenic signatures again. Factor in 3,000 degrees.
The Oracle Cloud has completed analysis. Accessing satellites and plotting the last 12 months of thermogenic occurrences now.
Take away everywhere that there's been a Mandarin attack.
So again, you can see there is a lot of data available. He needs to make some tree and have a better view on what he needs right now. That's a bit what they propose with this idea. Basically, the first prototype was a one-button action where you could ask with voice command access to one of your stats linked into your profile. Their use case was you are playing Rainbow Six Siege, for example. The next match is on Chalet, and so you're asking your gaming assistant, okay, next match is on Chalet. What's my Windows ratio on this map to be sure that I can see where I'm at on this particular zone? And your chatbot is answering.
On Chalet, you're at 0.43. Be careful.
So it's able to give you the info and give you an advice about this info. Then you ask, okay, what's my deadliest weapon?
Your game patterns indicates 463 frags using SMGs. I am pretty sure it's your best pick.
Gotcha. So again, I could have all those stats on a screen, but I would have to scan all the screen while I'm playing, when I'm preparing for my game. So the idea was really to ease this access and to give you shortcuts about your personal data. So how did we started from this little prototype made in 24 hours to a live product? Well, basically, we took the prototype and we had two ideas that emerged from it. The first one was, what if we could ask anything and not just stats? Okay, we knew that stats, it was really powerful, but we could also have all the other content of our games, such as trailers, release dates, etc., etc. The other idea was, what if we cut the medium part where I have to ask? What if Sam could help me without me having to ask? That's what will become the daily login, and I will tackle that later in the presentation. So to start the development of the project, what we did first is to organize a survey to better understand how our gamers are interacting with their phone while they are playing. And the results were really interesting and really drive us into the right direction. 83% of them already had their phone within reach while they were playing. And keep in mind that it was 2 years ago, so I'm pretty sure that it's higher than that now. So nobody is quitting their phone anytime now. And most importantly, 50% of them were already using their phone while they were playing, even if it was not the most convenient. They were already watching a YouTube videos or chatting or watching a map or a wiki in the middle of a match. So we knew that mobile was a really good destination to offer some extra help. When we asked them what's their ideal gaming assistant, it was sort of AI here to help and to remove or ease frustration and help them getting better. But when we asked them what's the main barrier, it's that the assistant would misunderstood them, okay? And that's where we needed to start. Mainly because, like everybody, I imagine that at one point in your life you tried Siri. If you tried it at the beginning, it was kind of a rocky road. It's way better now, but voice assistants come a long way now in terms of understanding and trying to find the right way to answer. That's what we call the sesame door problem. A voice command is proved to be really easy and more natural as a way to communicate when it works well. When it's painful, it's the highest frustration you can create when you need to learn exactly how to ask something very simple. So based on that, we created a small team codenamed Hello, and we gave them a goal to create an internal alpha inside Ubisoft a few months later. The team was composed with a scriptwriter, a game designer, 2 mobile devs, and 2 backend devs. Their first mission was to be sure that Sam could listen and understand. And that's where we entered the magical world of NLP engines. So we needed an NLP solution to do that. And if you're asking what's an NLP solution, the good news is that you can ask Sam.
Natural language processing, or NLP for geeks like us, is a field of computer science that aim at helping artificial intelligence analyze and understand human language. In Muggle's terms, it's the part of my system helping me understand what you're saying when we chat. You can read more about it here.
And you will have more details inside the app. And so we choose to go with Google's Dialogflow, who was at the time starting its own beta. Dialogflow is a ex-API.ai. It's an NLP system used by companies like KLM, Domino's Pizza, or Ticketmaster. And basically the way you can use it is you can set up any kind of question, find synonyms of the form of the question you want to detect, and create a series of answers that can be randomly generated by your chatbot if you want. But the main challenge we had is that in our case, it was not to order a pizza, it was to talk with gamers. So we needed to teach Sam how to talk and understand gamers. So I don't know if you're able to read a Twitch chat nowadays. I can't. It goes too fast and I can't understand half of it. And for example, by show of hands in the room, who knows what a weeb is? Good, good. It's GDC, so it's or 07 in the chat. Nice. And we had a lot of other terms to learn and to teach our chatbot because that's internet and that's gamer. I love this article from Digital Trends when we announced Sam. And for me, it sums up perfectly what we had as a challenge ahead. It's this question of Siri, how do I pound those noobs? I'm pretty sure that if you ask Siri that, Siri won't understand anything in your sentence. And we succeeded to teach that to Sam. So if you ask Sam, how do I pound those noobs? Sam will be able to give you play tips and to teach you how to improve, and will understand what you wanted to ask. Basically, the main difference we have with a product like Siri or Alexa or Google Home is that if you take Alexa, it was designed from the ground up to answer to, on one side, a little 5-year-old girl asking for a dinosaur, to, at the opposite, a CEO asking for a price market. And in between, they need to tackle recipes, animals, Rihanna song, the last movie, traffic, weather. It's huge. So their domain of knowledge is really large. At the opposite, for Sam, we had one topic, it's video games. More specifically, Ubisoft video games, but we tackle also larger than that. And we needed to be in depth on this topic, and being able to recognize questions like, give me the KDR on my main right now, noob. And believe me, that question happens a lot. So thanks to Dialogflow, we teach that chatbot how to react to that. First, we created what we call a gamer slang. So there's a huge collection inside Sam where we teach him how to recognize a different expression like fog of war, what is a triad, what is a weeb, a smurf, etc., etc. The good news is that you can also ask Sam for those definitions, saying, Sam, I read someone on a forum called me a weeb. What does it mean? Sam can explain you what's a weeb. We teach Sam also to recognize synonyms of our games, because not all of our players are saying or typing Assassin's Creed Odyssey the right way, and sometimes they are compressing everything. So I give you a few examples of all the synonyms we created for Assassin's Creed Black Flag or for Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege have more than 30 of those. Some of those are just misspelled forms, some of those are just nicknames, and with the time we learned how to detect all those forms. And we had also to teach Sam to understand text message culture, because if you have a part of your users composing a real full sentence, others are just talking with your chatbot with emojis or a few letters. And that's where we discovered that LTB FH 50 off means looking to buy For Honor at 50% off. That was a good day that day. So once we had the first prototype linked to an NLP engine, we decided to start some playtests on the road to the internal alpha. We started really small. What we wanted is to test the first interaction and the onboarding. It's what we call the first 10 questions. Basically, we sat with people and we asked them to ask 10 questions to our chatbot. The theory behind was that if a chatbot succeeds to answer correctly your first 10 questions, it will win your trust, and later on it will be easier for you to forgive when it will be mistaken or not knowing a few answers. So we sat with those people and started to let them ask questions, and when you see a little cross, that means that the chatbot couldn't answer, and so we created the answer at that time. Those are my real notes, and as you can see, lots of those questions are not regarding video games or are not really specifics. There are more onboarding questions. Exactly when you meet someone in a party, you're not starting to ask, what's the color of your cat's grandma? You're asking, how are you, where do you live, what do you do, etc., etc. That's what we call small talk. So we invest a lot into those small talk discussion, even if there is no link with video games. But we did it right, because today it's still 35% of the conversation that we register with the chatbot, meaning we are 35% of people chatting with Sam today that are just chatting about everyday's life, asking how they are doing, Do you like pizza, etc., etc. And it's interesting because if it can feel useless at the beginning, we believe that it really creates a connection between you and the chatbot and pass your chatbot from a practical chatbot that gives you A when you ask A to a more virtual friend. Then what we did is that we gave access to Sam via Slack inside the team every Friday afternoon. So every Friday afternoon, the whole team of the Ubisoft Club had access to Sam and could ask anything. And we were watching the logs and the discussion, and we were able to, with the script team, check where Sam was behaving in the right way or where Sam was not so strong. For example, that day, from the discussion with Roxanne, we discovered that we really needed some funny videos because at the time we had only trailers. And we really needed to work on our jokes. Thanks to those small playtests and internal playtests, Sam grew up slowly from 25 topics at the beginning from the first prototype to 100 later, and when we were ready to launch the internal alpha. 400, thanks to the internal alpha, where 600 participants chatted with the chatbot during 2 months internally at Ubisoft. And if you look at Sam now, it's more than 2,000 topics that Sam can talk with you about. 3 key findings we had from this conception. First, we realized that it will be an ongoing work, and Sam needed a live team to tackle this kind of discussion. I don't know for Domino's Pizza if there is a lot of new pizzas to add every week, but on gaming and on the internet, we have to follow the culture and be sure that we can follow all the trends. So when Fortnite starts, Sam needs to be aware of Fortnite. When we release a new game, Sam needs to be aware. When we have a free weekend or a new operation, Sam needs to be aware. That's where we started to build a real live team. The second key finding is that machine learning can be super tricky. Basically, if you saw some press around Sam last year, we had some incidents sometimes using machine learning, mainly because when you are asking about Prince of Persia, for example, if you say Prince of Persia 2 or Prince of Persia 15, for machine learning, it's kind of the same, and machine learning is that, hey, Prince of Persia, I know what it is. So sometimes you can end up with a weird surprise on the internet and people using your chatbot to make it say stuff that doesn't exist. So we learned how to change the system to be sure that it doesn't happen again. Also, what we really learned is that it's super interesting to know what your chatbot can answer, but the most interesting part is where you can't answer yet, what we call the fallback, and where we can every week check all the questions that Sam couldn't answer that week and decide if we want to create new content for that. That's part also of the philosophy that we want for this project. It's really an open dev philosophy. We really want to build this product to be by gamers for gamers. It's an expression that we are using a lot, but it's really difficult to put that in place and to be sure that we are in line with what our users want and needs. Basically, what we do is first, again, we check the fallback every week. So every week, the live team is checking the top 100 fallbacks. And I give you an example on the side. That week, they discovered that the Apache Longbow is an helicopter in Ghost Recon Wildlands, so they added an entry for that, and you can, Sam can explain to you how to unlock the helicopter. Of course, there is some web content that we can add. Misspell, a lot of mistakes about one key question that you can ask. In that case, it's how effective are Rook's plates. It's one of the operators of Rainbow Six Siege. Lots of people are misusing the text or via voice command are not recognized, so we need to add synonyms for that. Or recently, a lot of questions about the Division 2 in Chinese that Sam can still recognize. And of course, we have a lot of surprise, as you can imagine, after 10 million of question and answers, and unexpected topics. So sometimes in the fallback, you see something strange, and you're like, that's weird. And it comes back to the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and you're like, okay, maybe we need to tackle that subject. And what we try to do as best with the script team is to bridge as much as possible to either Ubisoft games, or geek culture in general. I give you an example. Last summer, 3,000 people asked Sam to play Despacito. So what do you do with that? And thanks to the magic of internet, we found a video created by the Ghostly Dragon. Thank you, YouTuber the Ghostly Dragon. We did gun sync. Gun sync is someone recreating a song entirely using a gun sound from a game. Okay, so the Ghostly Dragon recreated Despacito using only the gun sound from Rainbow Six Siege. You can listen to it on Sam if you want. What's also really cool is when you check the YouTube comments, you can see that several users are now coming to watch the video because Sam told them to, and they share the news. So we build a really cool relationship with those YouTubers because there's this loop where Sam is a really good dealer of good content on the internet. Another example is, what do you do with that? Okay, so we had to decide because more and more users were asking. And again, we decided to first take a statement saying that Sam will always avoid two topics, religion and politics, and I advise you to do the same during family dinner. And to bridge, we didn't want it to bridge to Ubisoft games or to games in general. We decided to bridge to quantum physics and to say, I don't know about that, but if you want to ask me about quantum physics, you can. And we created a second entry where you can ask Sam about quantum physics, and Sam will teach you the basics of quantum physics. Of course, with all those content, we have also more sensitive and social subject, and it's really wonderful to see that happening on a chatbot. So a lot of questions about gender, identity, diversity, harassment, bullying, and even suicide. A really good inspiration for us was the Replica chatbot. If you never heard about it, it was created by Eugenia Cuida, following a weird episode of Black Mirror. And she created this AI chatbot that follows a psychology technique that makes you speak. It makes you talk as much as possible by asking you questions, and the more you talk, sometimes the more you can feel better, mainly because also you know that it's a safe space because the chatbot will never judge you. We learned a lot with Replica, and we teach Sam also to recognize basic emotion and sentiment, like when you are asking Sam, how are you? Sam is returning you the question. If you say that you are sad or in a bad mood or tired, Sam will ask you why and try to complete the conversation with you. At the opposite, if you are happy, Sam will ask you the same thing. And regarding suicide and other more personal problem, we take no chance. It's one of our strategy. So today, if you are talking about suicide to Sam, Sam will try to give you a hotline and help to reach. Idea is that Sam is available 24/7. If it can help one person, it was the work on our side. One thing we learned also during this open dev exercise is that users know better than us what they need. That's where we can focus on all. So we created a series of tools to give them, offering them a channel to discuss with us. Mainly when you watch a video inside Sam, you have an upvote, downvote button to give us your feeling about this video. Was it useful, not useful? And that way we can check the database once a month. We open dedicated forums à la Star Citizen to be sure that you can, and it's forum where you can discuss about everything with the dev team. We do a weekly Friday update and tweet. So Twitter is our main communication platform. So every week we tweet about what did we add into SAM, what are the new questions you can ask. And most importantly, we do a bi-weekly tweet poll. So on a bi-weekly basis, we ask an open question to the community, and we try to keep on track that they are here to help us decide. That's one of the examples where we were working on the daily login for Gothic on Wildlands, and we wanted to know what kind of videos the players of Wildlands are interested in too. It's funny because fun content was number one, so we decided to balance in a different way the collection of videos. I give you an even better example how those Twitter polls can really impact the production. So June 2018, we decided to create 4 new daily logins in addition to Rainbow Six Siege. We knew that we wanted to tackle AC/DC that was to be released in October. Also The Division, Ghost Recon Wildlands, but the 4th one was kind of open. We knew that we had the space to develop a 4th one, but it was difficult to choose. So what we did is the Twitter poll. We asked the community, what if I could offer you a daily login on one of their games to choose between The Crew 2, For Honor, and Far Cry 5. What's super interesting in this exercise is that that's my personal account, and you can see my own vote. So I voted for Honor. Jason is you, if you hear me, I voted for you. But what's super interesting is that even me as a creative director, I was not in the right direction. And what at that time our players were needing was Far Cry 5 daily login. So that's what we did. And in fact, it opened a really cool opportunity because we created a new feature that I will show you after called Previously On. So let's dig into it. The daily login, it's one of the main features that we developed for this chatbot. It's really the other side of all these questions that Sam can answer. It's the idea of being able to help you even before you ask. It's kind of crazy, but we can do it. What we did is that we took a simple event. It's you booting your game, no matter the platform. Every time we check your presence on our servers linked to your Ubisoft account, we are able to ask AI to analyze your last game session. So let's say you played last Tuesday, 52 minutes, you won some matches, lose some. And then we ask Sam to prepare for you some smart and useful tips about your current session to be sure that you know how you can improve for your next session. Then you receive a push notification immediately on your phone. So you just boot up The Division 2 on your console or PC, your phone send you a push notification. If you open this push notification, you receive your daily login. So you didn't have to ask for anything. You didn't have to type or use voice command. It's already there. And we believe that it's the right moment for you to check those info before you jump into the game. That's my personal account, and I just started the other day Rainbow Six Siege on PC. You can see an example. It gives me my PvP frag lifetimes and a comparison of my position inside the community. So I'm in the top 30% of the most deadly players, even if I'm not that good. If I continue scroll my daily login, Sam will recommend me some challenges to add inside the club and to start. So with one button, I can do that. And most importantly, will recommend me YouTube videos based and tailored on my playstyle. And that's where the magic happens using AI. It's when we are able to really give you the content you needed at that time. So I give you an example, Rainbow Six Siege. Sam is scanning for you 12 stats that we ranked by priority using the game dev team and players' feedback. So one of the highest priority we decided is your favorite operator, then your favorite weapon type, then the last map you played, then the last map you played but you lost. So scanning those stats, Sam will be able to compare those to your player level in the game. We decided to create 3 buckets to simplify. Either you are a rookie, an advanced, or an expert player. We decide to plug that to the level, the playtime, or for The Division, for example, it's linked to your gear score. And we decide with the game team what are the thresholds. So for Rainbow Six Siege, for example, we decided that under 20 hours of play, you are considered as a rookie. Under 150, you are an advanced player, and above that, you are an expert player. What will Sam do with that is, let's say Sam detects that your favorite operator just changed and it's Ella. If you are a rookie, Sam will give you a one-on-one tutorial, YouTube videos giving you the basics about this operator. But if you are an advanced player, it will give you a more complete videos, and if you are an expert, you don't need a tutorial. You need to watch pro players or diamond players playing. Another example is the map. So let's say you lost your last match on plane. If you're a rookie, Sam will give you the basic layout of this map for you to better understand the space. If you are advanced, it will be a deeper intel about this specific map. And if you are expert, a video that even me, I don't know what it is. But just to give you an idea, just for Rainbow Six Siege, we created more than 700 YouTube videos to feed Sam that we handpicked thanks to the team and the game team and the club team. And by the way, I want to thank all the YouTubers out there who create all these really cool content, because without them, we couldn't provide such good advices and content to our players. So thank you all. After that, we started to develop new daily logins for new games, and for each game, we started to look at their needs and to adapt the recipe, because every game is not Rainbow Six Siege, and when you take Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm not sure that you can compare a lot of the systems of the two. So we adapt the daily login, the stats, the priorities, and we add new features. For example, when you boot Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Sam is able to give you the percentages of choices you made in the game. So are you more flirty? Are you more aggressive? Are you more peaceful? Another feature we developed, as I mentioned before, is for Far Cry 5. If you start Far Cry 5 today, Sam will be able to sum up for you where you left the game the last time. Basically, it will read the last mission you activated the last time you played and give you a sum up of the story. And for The Division 2, right now Sam is giving you matchmaking tips. So it's reading your friends list, comparing your player's level or PvP rank level, and give you advice about, oh, that player is 1 or 2 level above you, you should play with him. So to conclude, I will give you an idea of where we are going with this project for year 2. One of the questions is, did we succeed to obtain what we wanted at the beginning, and the idea of I can ask any stats live while I'm playing? Not so much, mainly because there is a lot of stats and a lot of games, but it's clearly where we want to go. In the meantime, we have 3 main objectives for this year. The first one is to continue to add a lot of tools for our players inside SAM. We are working on a feature called Team Up. It's what you saw at the beginning in the trailer. It's a game rendezvous feature where you will be able to invite your friends to a game rendezvous. It will create a rendezvous in your phone, in your agenda. We want to ease also the beta sign up and let Sam being able to give you your beta key later on your phone. Same thing for the server status. We would love for Sam to be able to give you the status of your game, and in case of incident, being able to push you a notification when everything is green again and you can play again. The other objective is to ease the partnership with the production. We believe that today the club app and SAM could act as a universal companion app, and we are working with a new production and new project to be sure that we can work together to have the best service out there, and for you to have only one app to use when you are playing Ubisoft games. And the last is that we want to explore new destination for SAM. Clearly, the mobile was a good first start. We want to explore more other destinations. As SAM is web-based, we want to implement SAM in new entries to see what it could do. And I could continue like that for hours, like telling you, oh, we created fake computing, and oh, we are making sure that we cheat a little to make sure that the AI looks more intelligent. I can tell you also how we reached at one point the limit of Dialogflow because it was a too big chatbot at that time, and how we worked with them to handle that. Or I could tell you how we almost gave Sam the voice of Michael Ironside, but it was a bit too much. So we decided no. Thank you for your time. So you can download the Ubisoft Club app on iOS and Android. You can also follow Sam on Twitter, having access to its weekly updates and participate to the Open Dev poll. There is one this week, so you can vote. Thanks. And you can follow me on Twitter also. I want to thank all the team who works on this crazy project and make your phone talk at the Ubisoft Club. Keep in mind that we are all open for everybody in the company, and we are always looking at the Ubisoft Club, front-end web dev, online prog, game designers, UI designers. And that's it for me. Thank you. I think we have the time for a short Q&A if you want. Yeah.
So you mentioned machine learning. What specific AI techniques are you using?
So the machine learning, the first part is handled by Dialogflow directly from Google. So basically, it's a comparison of all the sentences and words used in a question to be sure that we can set up a parameter saying, if it looks like 80% of our question, let it pass. And that's where the machine learning is going.
Okay, so you're relying on Dialogflow for all that right now. Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey.
Hey. What role do you think that platforms play in this? Like if Xbox, people are coming to Xbox to play your games, if Xbox were to build their own AI chat bot to try and be their own gamer assistant, are there conflicts there? Does that sound exciting? Is that helpful? Is that
I think it's the more information and data we can share, the most interesting it will be to interact between those. There is a lot of example already between, for example, Alexa and other AI or other chatbots that are implementing service together. For sure, we are open to partner with any other AI system or data system to be sure that we can provide the best info to our players. I'm not sure that I can see that as a competition, as it's a free service. If Sam can help you on any other platform, we are more than happy for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you find that any players would abuse Sam? And if they did, how did you deal with it?
It's an interesting question about what do we do with people abusive against an AI. I'm not pro pushing robots in videos. I don't like that. But I believe that a lot of our users right now are testing Sam and testing the AI by being super abusive and testing the limits. So I'm not sure that we should push that into the toxicity batch. For me, it's more them playing around and fooling around with the AI. But we had discussion about specific entry in the log where we saw weird stuff, and we are still thinking about what should we do with that. But again, a lot of what you can read in a log for a chatbot, and again, it's anonymous. We don't check who is asking. It's just a faceless, endless log. But I strongly believe that it's, and I'm convinced that people are good. So I strongly believe that they are just messing with the AI for the most part.
Thank you.
Hi there, great talk, thank you. I was wondering if you gave Sam a gender and also if you gave it a personality.
Gender, no. Even if when I'm giving the presentation, my English is not that fluid to be all gender inclusive, but no, and in fact, when you're asking that to Sam, Sam can talk to you about gender identity. About the personality, yes, strongly, and I think it was part of the success of the chatbot. Again, I think the fact that other chatbots like Siri or Alexa needs to tackle a wide variety of audience, like kids to CEOs, they can't so much have a tone, okay? They can't decide to be savage or tricky or where we don't talk to either women or men or old people or young people, we are talking to gamers. So in that fact, Sam was easier to write because we could take a tone and a different aspect. And one of the best things you can read today on Reddit about Sam is the jokes or the times where Sam were trying to burn users or stuff like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of the people who interact with Sam regularly, what percentage roughly use the voice versus the text input?
Text input is right now 75%. 25% are using a voice command. It's also a question of UX because we decided that the text input will be bigger on the screen than the voice, mainly because when we did the first playtest, at the beginning we had a few use cases where you were at the office or in the bus and it was easier to text, to use voice or alone at your home, but we realized that a lot of situations, again at the office or while playing and you are already chatting with your friends, you need to use text. So I think that's relatively the balance you can see here.
Following that question,
yeah.
Is the voice recognition done on my phone as Siri and then send it to you as text, or is it your side doing voice recognition?
No, the voice recognition, a part is done on your phone, then it sends the text to Dialogflow to be analyzed and understand and transform that into context for us to do whatever we want with it. And then it goes back and it's a text-to-speech on your phone that transforms that into the voice. By the way, the voice of Sam is not the voice that we choose, it's the voice of your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends on your phone.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
I just had a question regarding the daily login feature, because these are messages that are not triggered by the user. How did you make sure they didn't become an annoyance for users?
I think it is right now. I think it is a bit, and it's something that we are working on because right now, and it's funny because if you come back 18 months from now, we were discussing, oh, should we send one daily login or one daily login every time you boot your console? But Rainbow Six players are playing 4 times a day, so they will receive 4 daily login. Is it good? Is it bad? We decided to give you 1 daily login per day, and it's already too much. We have feedback from users saying, I receive 1 daily login every day. I'm reading 1 on 4 or 5, and it's not good. So we are working on changing the philosophy and being sure that when you will access the app, we will deliver you your daily login. If you ignore the last 3, we keep that info on our side and we don't spam your phone.
Yes.
I'm curious, you talked some about how Sam was extremely different from, for example, Alexa because of the depth of information versus the breadth of information. Have you considered integrating with a platform like Alexa as an Alexa skill or one of the other platforms that already has NLP processing?
Yeah, it's one of the options we want to explore. As part of the new destination, we want to implement Sam. Of course, we are exploring a lot of options, including Alexa or Google Home or others.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, hello. Are you Sam?
Me?
Yeah?
No.
Who is Sam trying to be?
I think Sam is trying to be the best friend of players. If we can define a universal player, what is difficult. But Sam is trying to be helpful. That's the base. And every time we try to write new answers for Sam, what we try to be is funny, positive, and helpful. Voilà.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mentioned near the end about faking stuff to make the AI feel smarter. Any examples?
Mainly the inspiration comes from Jarvis. Okay. So when you hear about Jarvis, Jarvis is doing a lot of, and is saying a lot of things that it doesn't need to say. Like accessing the old satellites to be sure that comparing all the, and computing doesn't need to do that. Your computer is not telling you, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. But when you remove those parts, you can see that the perception of your users is really different. So the more you put that, and I have a personal story about that. It's working a long time ago on Your Shape. We worked on personalized training. So an AI capable of building for you a workout based on a lot of option and exercise. And we had a competitor at the time that was Nike Training. And the game went out, and we were with my team in front of the game, and they did that kind of show and tell where they were like, oh, I'm creating right now your perfect workout. I have 9,000 blocks, and I take this one. It creates, making my algorithm, and we were like, that's so cool, because we were just generating for you the perfect workout, and we were like, that's your workout. And people were like, okay, is it smart? And they were doing this little show to give you, to make you enter into this process. So if you read a lot of answers from Sam, starts like, okay, let me check that, or let me fetch that for you, or let me access the database to check that. And in fact, it doesn't need because the answer is already there, but it gives you the feeling that there is a process behind. So that's fake computing.
Nice.
I want to train Mark on that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other question? Thank you.